Yo, what's good, everybody? What's good? This is your boy JTL, aka Out from the North, back with another one. Appreciate everybody for showing up on this good Sunday evening. You know, we made it. That's what's up. So I got a great video for y'all. You know, the topic I put, feminist hasn't changed. Meaning it's pretty much been like this for some decades now, some generations. You know what I'm saying? And I show this type of stuff to the women that actually do care to learn something, so they can go learn more, do their own research. You know, I just take what I'm saying for the gospel, and at the same time, you know, guys that need to learn. You know, we got a lot of simping going on, but we got some guys that's in between. You know, in the gray area, trying to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Modern women, modern men, which is all good, it's all cool. You know, I had to figure it out my damn self. So can't hold nobody on that. Can't make it seem like anybody wrong for trying to figure out what they trying to figure out. The only time you're wrong is when you hurt somebody. You know what I'm saying? We got people that use the system in a way that it's not just, it's not correct. You know what I'm saying? Against people that's not doing nothing wrong to them, or to people that they're mad at. You know what I'm saying? We gotta do better than that. We gotta do better than that. So we need to have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? We need to have this conversation. No cap, no lie. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it back a little bit. We got this is gonna be a conversation. This is in 1971. And I believe the network back in the day was called Soul to Soul. I think it was like kind of like a public access type channel. But they had two very pivotal people. One you may know more than the other. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit. First person we got is going to be right there on the screen, Nikki Giovanni, who was a poet, writer, commentator, activist, and educator. Definitely was somebody very special in the Black community, in the, you know, in us, if you want to say waking up, whatever you want to call it. The other person that most people may know more than Nikki Giovanni is the brother James Baldwin. May he rest in peace. He passed away. Nikki Giovanni is like 79 now, but the brother James Baldwin passed away in 87. So he was somebody who did plays, novels, poems. Definitely one of the big figures in the Black community when it came to activism. Definitely a respectable legend and brother. Very tried to figure it out. You know what I mean? Real quick, we got Don GQ in the building, said I was never here. We got Grace in the building, aka G2. Say what's up, everybody. What's good with you? So, like I said, this is going to be talking about showing a conversation that we've been having, and this was in '71. You know what I'm saying? So we got to talk about it. The whole mindset, the verses. You know, you got a brother over here trying to figure it out for all people, and of course, you know, as black men, we trying to figure it out for our people. Then you got some black women that was taking up feminism, and this is one of them. Let's go ahead.
My father had to endure to raise 9 children on $27.50 a week when he was working. Now, when I was a kid, I didn't know what the man was going through at all. I didn't know why he was always in a rage. I didn't know why he was impossible to live with. But I had not had to go through yet his working day. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't quit his job because he had the kids to feed. You know, he couldn't say, as our kids can, I don't like white people. He couldn't say anything. He lived his whole life in silence except in the church. You know? Mm-hmm. And he couldn't explain. How can you explain to a 5-year-old kid, my boss, called me a nigga and I quit. And the kid's belly's empty and you see it. And you gotta raise the kid. You've got to raise the kid. And your manhood is being slowly destroyed hour by hour, day by day. Your woman's watching it. You're watching her watch it. And the love that you have for each other is being to be destroyed hour by hour and day by day. It's not her fault. It's not your fault. But there it goes because the pressures under which you live are inhuman.
See, right now they're starting to have the conversation about what I was talking about, the whole dynamic of, because this was 71, so it's been going down definitely since the 60s and mid-late 50s. Black women starting to adopt the whole feminist mindset. And they're saying the whole oppression. Now, Mr. Baldwin, he talks about his father doing it to his mother. Nikki Giovanni, she's going to talk about her father doing it to her mother. Now, make no mistake about it, he's not saying that it was okay. He's not okaying it, but realizing what they went through. And especially as women got more into the workforce, or if you want to say more into the mainstream workforce, especially if you was black, get into the white workforce and seeing the shit that you had to go through. Like he said, you couldn't quit just because your boss called you a nigger. ER. You had them children to feed. You had to take care of that household. So that's the whole thing that he's talking about. And to me, it sounds like he's talking about getting empathy. Not just getting sympathy, but just imagine if you had to be in his shoes and go through that same type of shit. And then you're supposed to come home and just be happy. It's a lot to take on.
My father finally went mad. And I understood when I became a man how that could happen. It wasn't that he didn't love us, he loved us. It wasn't that he didn't love his wife, our mother. He loved her. But he couldn't take it. Day after day and hour after hour, being treated like a nigger. On that job and in those streets and on those subways. And then coming home to his children who didn't understand him at all, who were moving further and further away from him because they were afraid of him. And also, which is even worse, afraid of the situation, the condition, which he represented. He was, after all, for a kid, you begin to see when you're called a nigger, you look at your father because you think your father can rule the world. Every kid thinks that, and your father cannot do anything about it. And then you begin to despise your father and you realize, oh, that's what a nigger is. And it's not your father's fault. And it's not your fault. It's the fault of the power, people who hold the power, because they have deliberately trained your father to be a slave. And they deliberately calculated that if he is a slave, you will be a slave. You will also accept it. And it'll go on forever and slave. slavery will last 1,000 years, which slaveholders said and believed. And now the bill is in. And they want from me or from you sympathy and understanding. I understand it all too well. And I have all the sympathy in the world for that spiritual disaster. But I have no pity. The bill is in. We paid it. Now it's your turn.
It's like a funny situation to be in, because like we were poor, but maybe unfortunately for somebody like me, not poor enough to relate to it. And that, we had enough to eat it like that, things like that. So that my relationship to that whole syndrome, which remains true, I'm 28 to this day, is that I really don't understand it. I don't understand how one hand, they say you're talking about like a black man.
Was I muted that whole time, Grace? When I thought I was talking? I might have been muted that whole time. I don't know. Let me know if I was muted that whole time or you heard me. I'm just paying attention to that.
That he can be nothing in the streets and so fearful in his home. That he can be brutalized by some white person somewhere and then come home and treat, me, my mother, the same way that he was being treated. Which perpetuates, you take somebody like me, I'm not married, right?
Yes, but Nikki,
I couldn't play my mother.
Yes, I know.
You know what I mean? I just couldn't deal with it. I said, no, this won't work.
But Nikki, it is also true that since your mother played that role, you haven't got to.
I couldn't.
But you haven't got to, that's the point. Because she did.
My bad, Grace. My bad, I'm sorry. What I was saying was, he was just talking about empathy, understanding, putting himself in his father's shoes, him going out there working hard, being disrespected by his boss, you know what I'm saying, and then coming home and taking out on his family. He say he understands now when he goes through it, but it doesn't mean he forget. Well, it doesn't mean I'm gonna show pity, but I understand. Doesn't make it right, but now I understand. So maybe you can learn from it and do better. So he's telling Nikki Giovanni that, no, don't be okay with that. If some man is doing you wrong because of that shit is not okay. Not these days. If it's that terrible, you have a better choice to walk away, especially for women nowadays. No fault divorce, right?
But her mother did.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, but that's how we got here. What I really am trying to say is I don't want us to underestimate the price paid for us.
I have a great deal of respect for those people, for my parents, for people that I don't know, for the whole, everybody who's shuffled. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that it's a phenomenon to me how you could be mistreated and then come home and mistreat someone the same way.
First of all, Nikki, you say mistreated, or I say mistreated. No. But in the mind of the person who is doing it, he's not mistreating you.
No, I'm not dealing with that. Well, I'm not going to even, let's not for a minute. Let's say in the mind of, your father, who is just an example, or the mind of my father, you know what I mean? He is being mistreated. I'm not going to deal with the cracker that's mistreating him. I'm going to deal with him. He knows that he is not being treated with the respect due him as a person, as a black man. Okay. In order to get that together, when he comes into that house, he begins to brutalize my mother, for example. You see what I mean? Which becomes like a phenomenon to me, because I don't like white people and I'm afraid of black men, right? If you could follow what I'm saying without anybody writing a letter and saying sister, you know what I mean?
But you can.
Okay, so what do you do?
Listen, you have to. I think
it's a cycle.
Of course it is, but you see, this is one of the reasons I don't protest, but try to make clear that the words white and black don't mean anything. A man comes home. He is in a situation which he cannot control. He is a human being. It's got to come out somewhere. A poor Puerto Rican several years ago, for example, it's alleged. But I can see if this happened, why it happened. Cat came home and the 3-month-old baby was screaming, as babies do. And he killed it. He didn't mean to kill it. He picked it up and threw it against the wall.
Yeah, I read that.
He didn't mean to kill it. It wasn't that. I understand, because I've been there. I know something about that. I don't know if it happens to a woman, but it happens to a man. You cannot do anything
Now, see, this may sound crazy, but this is why therapy is important, right? And they try to have more help centers nowadays that you call somebody you can talk to, right? But the sad thing is, for men, we have to dig a little bit more to get that help and sympathy. Now, I'm not saying that these days it isn't like more accessible. I'm not saying that. But the problem is when you run into a lot of people that don't care about your mental wellness. Now, when women say they care so much about women and the children or women and girls, right? If there's a man leading that over those young ladies or young girls, you have to think about their safety. So to go out there and treat men like trash that are leaders of their household or the presumed leader over their household as a man is not smart at all. That's why these male spaces have to exist, because when we watch TV shows and hear them making jokes about the carnage that they will do to men and laugh about it, and a man might be going through something and he see his woman sitting there laughing, and then she poisoning her daughter's mind to laugh at him. And a lot of times you have women that teach their sons not to respect their fathers. And then you will have women on the back end, a lot of women, not all, but a lot, too many, that will be talking about, I need a man that can handle me. So they will disrespect the man, have the children disrespect the man. And that man in his mind frame is like, handle you how? So I need to choke you, slam you, whatever, God forbid. You got men that think that way, because you have women that put them in that mind frame. So when a lot of women hear men say walk away, or they hear the passport bros, that makes no sense to get mad at it. Let them go about their business. That might save your well-being. Don't try to fight with men that's trying to figure it out and get away from the craziness, because since women are in the workforce so much now, we're in this country, all over the place, you got to learn how to empathize. I ain't saying be no victim, because that ain't cool, because I ain't going to be one. So I ain't going to tell nobody to be one. But it's learn how to empathize so you can move correctly in these situations.
They got you. They got you by the throat and by the balls. And of course it comes out. It comes out where would it come out? It comes out in the person closest to you.
I was going to say that's so wrong, because what you perpetuate...
Nikki, it may be wrong.
I hate to use those kind of terms.
But Nikki, it may be wrong. Of course it's wrong. But we're dealing with human beings. One cannot be romantic about human nature. One cannot be romantic about one's own nature.
That's not fair. I don't think that I'm romantic. But
no, I don't mean that you are.
I have seen how the community, and even today in 1971, even today there are divisions based on those same kind of problems.
That's right.
So that the black men say, in order for me to be a man, you walk 10 paces behind me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
it means nothing. I can walk 10 paces behind a dog. It means nothing to me. But if that's what he needs, I'll never get far enough behind him for him to be a man. You know what I mean?
Look,
I'll never walk that slowly.
Look, Nikki, if at the very great risk of seeming to pull rank.
No, pull rank.
I'm not.
Come on.
I'm not.
Now, see, that's the sad thing about it. And that's what, and real quick, let me read Grace's comment. Dads often work or even just husbands and deal with BS in and out of the house. And he's treated like a work mule, and no out, eventually you snap. That's real. So this is our women being taught that the black man is oppressing you. Now, like I said, that doesn't mean make anything okay where just because he going through it with somebody else to come in, take it out on a weaker vessel. That is some coward shit. Let's keep it G. But as I stated before, when she says, oh, I can walk 10 paces behind a dog, they ain't gonna never make him a man. It's the slick mouth shit. You got strong men out, especially black men, that women don't get behind or get on their side like that. That's a big issue. So like I said before, if you got passport bros, somebody getting the hell out of it, let them go. Don't get mad at them and talk shit like they supposed to stay here and take the abuse. And then like Grace said, eventually they gonna snap. You can't tell a man what a real man is and then think he gonna allow you to disrespect them We got PA in the building. What's good, PA? PA said, "What's up, y'all? Still in Honduras, chilling. Just wanted to check in." That's what's up. Keep bowling. Let's get back to the video.
No, but I don't mean that. But what I do mean is that a great many things which seem, if I may say so, new to you are not new to me.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can say then, okay, I see what the cat's doing. I know how long. I can tell you almost exactly how long he will do it. I know that a great deal of what passes for black militancy right now is nothing but a fashion.
At best.
At best. Something will rest. Something will remain. What is important about it is not the details, not the given, people, or the given so-called leaders or any of that jazz. What is important is the impulse out of which it has come, the ferment out of which it has come, which it reveals too, and what's valuable in it will remain, and the rest will go.
Yeah, but what's
you know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, what's sort of sad to me is that the same syndrome that say our fathers set up, coming from many, you know what I mean? My father is your age, and the same syndromes that they set up. Well, he's a little bit older, 55, but the same.
Bit older, 55. Thank you, baby.
Well, 7 years older. The same syndromes which is being set up, is being perpetuated, is that once again the black man is becoming the figure to slide away from. You know what I mean? That once again the black man is the figure that you say, well, I can't handle that. And if you visit with the states, or you talk to people enough, you'll see that same syndrome. The little guys that are standing around crossing their arms, and they're not lovable. They're not giving any love. They could give a damn about me. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate, because I need love.
Yes, but sweetheart, what you're saying is very, very serious. I'm not in the least denying it, because you're perfectly right. But the only way we can get through it, I think, and it's demanding a great deal of you. But one's got no choice but to demand a great deal of you. Is that you understand? Look, let us say I'm King Oliver.
All right.
Right? And I'm a pretty good musician.
Very good musician.
And somebody called, let us say, Bing Crosby. Who couldn't carry a tune from here to here, right?
Merry Christmas.
Right?
It's true.
Now I watch this little white boy become a millionaire. Become a millionaire. Many times over. I can't get a job. And time goes on. You get older. You get more weary. And since you cannot get a job, your morale begins to be destroyed. And the body begins to fail you. Your death approaches. All because...
What's good, Marcus?
Being a man, you've never been able to execute what a man ought to be able to do. And this is not for anything that you have done or not done. By some arbitrary sentence. How in the world, if I can't get a job, if I can't even get my axe out of the pawn shop, if I can't even get money to get on the subway, how am I going to love anybody except in such an awful pain and rage?
You got a good point on that, Grace. She said there's a lack of compassion from women, that these men in these situations don't feel comfortable speaking on the issue. So again, holding such in long enough, you'll either leave or snap. Yeah, I done been there a couple times. I left. The key from snapping. But the sad thing is, like I said, for all the women that are in the workforce now, after all these generations, a lot of these women are doing the same thing that men have done, that they say they don't like. I'll probably show the video. You have a woman like Gabrielle Union that talked about cheating because she was the breadwinner. But you don't want a man to do you like that. You have women that get flip at the mouth, physical, disrespectful, just embarrassing man because she making the money. So how do you go from not wanting that disrespect anymore, wanting the right to choose, and then you go do the same thing once you're in our position? Once again, we're talking about empathy.
That nobody could bear it. I'm not trying to defend it. I'm trying to make you see it. Yeah. You see what I mean?
I do, but because maybe I'm hopeful, or because I've structured my life in a way that I won't.
I don't, by the way, think that what I'm describing is any longer true for your generation. I don't mean that.
But I see the same, what I keep saying is that I see the same syndromes in the same guys that I have to deal with now.
Yes, but my dear, what you have to see is also, you got to, look, think about the kid. Think about the kid. What you're going through is one thing, and I'm not trying to minimize it. I'm not trying to minimize.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
I'm not trying to. I don't even mean you personally.
Yeah, I know the generation. It's not.
Yes, I don't mean you, Nikki, exactly.
No, I hope that nobody. No. I'm not talking about me that much.
I know. But what I do mean is that simply assume for the moment. The kid is a useful metaphor because it carries you past one moment
into the next,
into another moment. Because no matter what happens to me or to you, one's responsibility is somewhere else. So it's a terrible Tuesday and a wretched Friday. But you're still, the kid don't know that. And then you begin to see that what looked so awful on Wednesday or on Friday, or is awful, but it's not eternal. You can get through it.
Hopefully.
And when you get through it, you can understand it.
Okay. We're not like in disagreement. What I'm trying to maybe get you to relate to is that, and I lay it on black men because I'm a black woman.
You have every right to.
I'm sure it's that arbitrary.
No, you have every right to.
But a guy, let's say a guy's going with girl. Mm-hmm. You're going with Maybelle. And Maybelle gets pregnant. All of a sudden, you can't speak to Maybelle because you don't have the money for a crib, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. She doesn't need a crib. The baby's gonna sleep someplace. If you can follow me for 2 seconds, wait. The baby's gonna sleep someplace. The baby's gonna eat something. But what she needs at that moment is a man. Mm-hmm. And in order, if the man functions as a man, mm-hmm. which is not necessarily a provider for all that stuff, because mm-hmm. everybody can understand why you can't buy something. You don't have a job. You didn't have a job when you always going to bed. Mm-hmm. Why you gonna get a job because she got pregnant?
Now, see, you see that? That's the part of the feminism that I keep pointing out. So she's saying, hey, if you can't afford it, it's all good. I just need you to. So there's certain women out here that once they start making money, they do what other men do. Start tricking. And we call them in these male spaces homosexuals. That's why when a lot of females get upset that, oh, I got a job, I got all this money, I'm doing all this. Why can't I find a good man? Why would a man get excited because you making money? Unless he gonna use you. The type of dude that'll take your car while you at work and go pick up other heifers and be late to pick you up from work. The type of dude that's spending all your money, ain't bringing no money to the table. You gave him that grace for him to be there and get his shit together, and he never does. And he just keep using you until you get tired of him. I ain't talking about a guy that tries and then, you like, I don't think it's gonna work. And you like, or he just leave on his own. That's where a lot of women start messing up, and that's what feminism start messing a lot of women's heads up to say that. And she gonna say some more of that. No disrespect to the elder, but I'm just saying.
You understand? There's no job, but what she needs is a man to come by and say, "Hey, baby, you look good," and black men refuse to function like that because they say, "I want to bring the crib when I come." Baby, you're never gonna get the crib.
Baby,
bring yourself.
Baby, I agree with you. I understand what you're saying. But let me tell you this. You may be absolutely right, and you are right from your point of view.
It's arbitrary.
But you have to understand my point of view.
I'm trying.
And from my point of view, well, if you were pregnant, I would act very differently. That's me. That's something else. But from the man's point of view, given the fact as we said much earlier, that the standards of the civilization into which you were born are first outside of you. And by the time you get to be a man, they're inside of you. And this is not susceptible to any kind of judgment. It's a fact. If you're treated a certain way, you become a certain kind of person. If certain things describe you as being real, they're real for you, whether they're real or not. And in this civilization, a man who cannot support his wife and his child is not a man. And this is also for example, in the welfare rules. The black man has always been treated as a slave, and of course he reacts that way, one way or another. And you can blame him on a human level if you like, but I think it's more interesting you have to understand it. The bag the cat is in.
But it's so
now that's some real shit he just said. That's some real shit. Like, if somebody's treated a certain way, they're gonna react a certain way. Now, I hear people that have this conversation all the time. I ain't totally blaming them, but when you have somebody right there, right in real time, trying to talk to you and explain the situation, break it down, and you're still not understanding, it ain't you, but it's like, damn, I understand if I was in that position. So if you have that continuing for generations after generations, systematically, it's systemic. A lot of times we don't realize we're doing it. That's just like the OG sports analyst. He was commentating a basketball game. I forget his name, but he was commentating a basketball game, and he said he's out of his cotton picking mind when the person stole the ball and scored. Now I think like that sounds like some slavery shit. Now I'm sure a lot of people, black and other, like, I don't see that as a big problem because we said it so long. But if you mean to tell me that Eddie Murphy is getting a lot of flack these days for shit he did from 83 to 88 as a comedian that was of the times, can we really sit here and act like that's just supposed to slide? Whether you're black, Asian, Puerto Rican, Mexican? No, it's not supposed to. We can't just keep it for certain people. And I know you got some people that push propaganda just to get clicks and views, or just to get people to watch the news and all that, blow people up. Trust me, I get that. But at the end of the day, if you're not in that person's shoes and you're not sympathizing or giving real solutions, concrete solutions that's tangible and resources, you might want to shut the fuck up. Grace says women don't treat a man that doesn't provide with respect, especially when she is the breadwinner, and a real man won't accept being treated disrespectfully. Yeah, that's some true shit. Like, it's only so long that a man is going to be okay with that shit. But that's a guy that actually has morals and principles. Sooner or later, he's going to walk away. Matter of fact, it doesn't even take for her to disrespect them. You got some guys, they can't do what's right. They'll get out your way. But these days, you got guys that'll help the kids, cleaning, cooking, and everything. And then you got some women out there, not all, but some women out there that'll still disrespect him because he ain't bringing no money in the house, or disrespect him just because she's bringing all the money out, even though he's doing a lot of shit to help. It's crazy out here. It's crazy.
Because how can I? I'm not being rational. And I may love you, especially if I love you. How in the world I can't come with nothing?
But it's not,
I know it doesn't make any sense, Nikki, but a man is built like that.
You see, when we talk about the children, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or we talk about, like, let's say my little boy, your nephew, something like that. We talk about how are we going to create the new child in the same old syndrome? Well, somebody has to fake it enough. You understand? Somebody has to say, hell no, I can't buy you a bicycle. You don't need one. Yeah. And smile about it so the kid can say, I'm not afraid of daddy.
But sometimes that happens, and after all.
But not enough to talk, when we talk about the group.
Yeah, but wait.
We're talking about the group.
Hold the phone, baby. It has begun. Something has begun. The fact that we're talking about it is a beginning.
It's very important.
It's very important indeed. Look, I've had to learn in my own life, I want this. I want it Friday. Friday comes and I worked my behind off to get something done that doesn't come for 20 years. Then you use that 20 years. Look, life is a very short and very long time. It is, really it is, and it's very important not to get hung up on any given detail, because what is there, like the fact that you're a woman and the fact that I'm a man, that's going to be there forever, and we have to deal with that forever.
From the beginning, sure.
And we have to deal with it from day to day, because if we love each other, we both know it. The tragedy is we both know it. And the greater tragedy is that it's destroyed by things which have nothing to do with you and nothing to do with me. A man is built as he's built, and there's nothing one can do about that. A man is not a woman.
That's true.
And whether he's wrong or right, look, if we're living in the same house, you're my wife or my woman, I had to be responsible for that house. And I'm not allowed to be responsible for that house. I'm no longer in my own eyes. Doesn't make a difference what you may think of me. In my own eyes,
that's correct.
I'm not a man.
That's
you see what I mean?
It does indeed make a difference what I think about it, because I could be perfectly willing, and as a matter of fact, I am perfectly willing to concede that, first of all, a man is a natural aggressor. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't care if I walked up to you and said, let's go to bed. Mm-hmm. You are the aggressor. Mm-hmm. And that's it. Because it all depends on you. Mm-hmm. I could fool myself. I could fool my friend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got it. Mm-hmm. It depended on you. Mm-hmm. You see? So I'm never confused on that level. Yeah, but I've seen so many people get so hung up in such crappy, superficial kind of things that for lack of being able to bring a steak in the house, they won't come. I can get my own damn steak. Nikki, I need you, Nikki, and that's what the black. No, really, I mean, that's to me what the black.
Yeah, but Nikki, you're perfectly right, but you're being, but you're being perfectly rational.
But it's a rational situation.
Yeah, but love is not a rational situation.
Love must be. It must be rational, because this irrationality that we have does not work. It destroys people.
I quite agree with you, but this is something we have to confront. When I was 22, I was about to get married, and for several reasons. I threw my wedding rings in the river, and that was when I split. I decided I would leave. I didn't get married partly because I had no future. It's very, very important.
You had no future.
I had no future. Sure. No, you got to go back to where I was.
Yeah, 22.
Okay. I had no future. I couldn't keep a job. No, because I couldn't stand the people I was working for, and nobody could call me a nigger. It's not small, So I split, Now, I love that girl, and I wanted children, but I already had 8, and they were all starving.
Yeah.
And from my point of view, it would have been an act of the most criminal irresponsibility to bring another mouth into the world which I could not feed.
Yeah, but you see, those weren't your children. Those were your father's children.
My father was dead.
It's not.
And as far as they knew then,
it's not what one cannot. And I'm not knocking your life. You know what I mean? But one cannot be responsible for what one has not produced.
I said we are not being rational.
But I said we must. I mean, that's my core was we must become rational.
Those are my brothers and sisters.
They were your brothers and sisters, but they were your father's children and your mother's children.
That was my father's responsibility. As far as I was concerned, they belonged to me.
Do you know what your life, and I'm saying it like that.
You know what I mean?
Do you know what your life looks like though? And this is what's happening.
Now, see, that's where I got a problem with right there, where she said, well, that was your father's children. That has become the huge mindset of women, especially our women. That's not your responsibility. So they teach women to go on about their business to the point where it's gotten so bad that it's okay that women are terrible mothers. That's how terrible it's gotten these days. That it's okay to say some shit like that. But it'll be wrong for a man to say some shit like that to a woman. It'll be wrong. And we got the boy JVJ up in the building. What up, man?
Why you always play that every time I come in here?
Man, I'm happy here.
You happy I'm here?
Happy you here.
I just got done talking to your best friend's Angry Snowman.
Why you want to come in and start shit? We talking about something productive, right?
Look, man, look, he wouldn't accept this. This is irrational to him. But
Okay.
What you got, man? I see you got what's his name? What's James Baldwin? Yeah. I like the guy, even though he a little skittish. I like him. You know, he dead and gone. Rest in peace.
He was very important though.
Yeah, he was a realist.
He ain't play the bullshit.
Straight shooters. I like straight shooters. Call it down the middle.
So what you think about the young lady at the time? She was 28.
Which one? Her right there? She's still in that naive phase of wanting. I think this is the problem that a lot of women and a lot of men have to grow out of. I think men grow out of it faster because they are forced to. We have an idea of what we want the world to be instead of accepting it for what it is. And I think she's in that mindset right now. Like, she wants the world. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have to take care of your kids. Well, you shouldn't have to take care of your brothers and sisters because that's your father's responsibility. That's the ideal world. But in all actuality, we literally, one of the biggest testaments that we have in the black community is that black women use is they took care of their brother and their sister while their mother was going to work. It is what it is.
But they never talk about the fact of brothers that were dropping out of school to get jobs and take care of those said siblings. Like, that whole shit is missing. Like, I went through that. When I was 16, I dropped out of school. I had to go back later, but I dropped out of school to pay bills in the damn house. They don't talk about that part.
Yeah. Look, dudes, men are always the ones that's gonna have to ultimately give the hell. Women sacrifice in a lot of different ways. But the greatest sacrifice when the world views it, looking on your sacrifice, the one that matters the most, is usually what most dudes do. Dudes sacrifice their future because dudes are most likely going to be the ones that earn the most. They have the most earning potential. A lot of kids sacrifice their education. Like, you hear it all the time. My granddaddy had a 3rd grade education and he supported the whole family, bought a house and put us in all of this stuff. He sacrificed because he had to for his mom and other siblings that were in his household. He did what he had to do to make sure that was straight, and then eventually he slowly built this shit. So,
quick question. Great granddaddy had 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade education. Normally it was between that, about 6th grade. When a lot of our brothers had to drop out of school and work at home. If you got a man that's doing that to help support the family, he ended up getting married, have his own family. How much emotional intelligence do you think he has?
He got a lot, because he actually...
He got a lot less.
He got a lot less?
For those men that didn't have the opportunity to go to school.
Oh, you talking about they didn't
go to college. They dropped out around 6th grade because they had to work. And then finally they get old enough to get their own family. They're not going to have that much emotional intelligence bullshit that these females are saying these days. A lot of them don't even understand what the fuck that means.
I would think they do. I would think they have more than the norm.
No, they have a basic understanding of go to work, protect, and provide. Not come home, ask you how you feel after they've been fucked over all day. They don't have the emotional intelligence to understand that, the kids were driving you crazy all day while they was working at the mill, working at the plant. They're not therapists. And that's what I think the brother is trying to tell this young lady at the time. Like, you go through this as a man? You ain't no therapist. You're not no psychologist. You're not none of that shit to understand your emotions and feelings, because I got to go do this shit while this white man at work calling me a nigger whenever he feel like he'll treat me like shit or laying me off, and I don't have.
Use a hard ER. I mean, damn.
That's what he said back then. It ain't with the A. It's not endurement. That bullshit we say nowadays. So what do you expect? So all I'm saying is, I'm contrasting it. All I'm saying is when women say what men should be, they're looking at it from their perspective of what they are. They're the nurturers. We're the protector and providers. If all we understand is those two roles, but yours means a plethora of everything else, how can you expect us to be on your level when you have all the time in the world to think? While you washing dishes, you got time to think. While you put the kids up, or while the kids at school and you just clean around the house, you have time to think. While you watching TV, you have time to think. When you're drinking your wine, you have time to think. While we're at the job, a dangerous job that we have to make sure we don't fuck up and kill ourselves, you have time to think. So if you got all this time to think, you ain't got time to fucking think why this man would be mad as fuck when he come home from work. So who really don't have the emotional intelligence?
Well, you already know how I feel about it. I think men have more.
And I feel like it's not manly.
Yeah, well, you understand where I'm coming from. Like,
go ahead.
I believe that men have more emotional intelligence than females because we are taught at a young age, and we can see the ones that don't grasp those teachings of controlling your emotions. A man that doesn't control his emotions, those are the people that you see doing what they do in the news every night. Those are the men. Like, I ain't gonna say that's all of them. That's not an absolute, but that's a big point of men not controlling their emotions and figuring out another way to move strategically around whatever problem they're dealing with. Women are allowed to be emotional. Men aren't. So when it comes to emotional intelligence, I think that's just a dumb word that I don't know which woman came up with that dumb shit. That's stupid.
It might have been a male psychologist. Could be Sigmund Freud for all we know.
They very possible.
But I think they're using it very irresponsibly. Because I get what you're saying. What I think the problem is that, all right, we're simple with ours. Protect and provide. That means that shows we care. But like I said earlier, if you have somebody who can have all this time to think and want an idealistic world without having going through it, you might be a little immature with your thoughts. You a little wet behind the ear. You're a little green behind the ears with that shit. That's just my personal opinion.
I agree with you.
Let's go back to the video. See how they can smoke on TV back then?
Also today, it looks like a black man can't make it with a black woman. If somebody looks at the two of us, man, we're the weirdest looking people on earth because you went your way and I went my way. But you're saying the same thing, and that's sort of a shame. To say that I can't have a black man standing with me, and you can have a black woman, because we wouldn't be who we are if we had. And that's a fact.
But Nikki, we are nevertheless. We're here. We met.
Oh, you and I met.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about for the statement, man. You're looking like a Huey Newton.
Yeah.
He can't make it with a black. Who could be his woman?
We don't know.
Oh, it's such a shame.
We don't know that much about the man.
We know what the image.
Yeah, but
we know what we've seen.
Let us forget the image. We don't know anything at all about the man.
We know a little bit.
Let us assume we don't.
Okay, let us assume we don't.
No. If insofar as it's true, that Huey, for example, cannot make it with a black woman. I don't know that that's true.
I don't know that it's true. I'm saying that to date.
That is part of the trap. Make one believe that. I don't believe that myself. No. It's part of a societal illusion which you're expected to believe so that you can react to it and be distracted from the main point, which is one's relationship to each other.
We've come to the end of the first part of this two-part dialogue between Nikki and Jimmy.
The way people...
Jay, you still there?
Yep.
I got a question on the last thing she said because it's a two-part thing. So, what do you think? I don't know how much you know about Huey P. Newton, but she said, because he was one of the top black activists of the Black Panthers. So she's saying, how does that look that he can't make it with a black woman? And then James Baldwin saying we can't assume that. We have to really assume that's not true. That's propaganda. You're worrying about the image versus worrying about that man. What would you say that? Because I'm thinking that don't mean he couldn't make it with a black woman. That might mean he was so dedicated to black people he wasn't worried about himself that much. But what do you think?
I would agree with the whole selfless part more than anything. If any man's like, we understand that we have boys left and right, but for a man that's moving and you can see by his actions that he cares about the people that he's trying to protect and provide for, it kind of makes it really, really hard to make that argument about them. Me personally, just me on the outside looking in, I'm seeing how this guy's moving, and all his actions show that he's trying to do this. So to say that he's trying to do that in spite of, I don't get it.
I mean, it just seems that that's the excuse that keeps being made. It's like you're not doing this as a man, and you don't have a black woman by your side. I ain't talking about the whole, dating out, marrying out, but I'm just talking about it. So, like I use myself for example. If I can't find the right woman for me, that does not mean I'm giving up on my community. That doesn't mean I don't help. You see me doing it, and if you come to that conclusion, I think you worried about the wrong thing. I think that's where men and women are different at, because black men are gonna see that brother and be like, "Oh, that's a strong brother. He's doing this thing. If we can, we'll try to support him best we can." But then you mean to tell me you'll have females that'll be like, "What's wrong with him? Why he ain't got no woman?" You're like, that's what you boiled down my movement to?
Yeah, they might call you gay.
And that's the crazy thing about it. How could you say that about somebody like Huey P. Newton? No disrespect to Nikki Giovanni, but it's only certain people that know about her. So to say that about this man was ridiculous.
I think she's playing the if game.
What you mean by that?
She just if this, if that, if it leads up to multiple possibilities instead of accepting what is.
And you saying the same thing he said.
Yeah, well, like all of us have to accept. Like men, definitely majority. Like men have to. There's no questioning it. You have to accept what is reality. And hopefully you can get a woman to understand what that is and get on board with it to have her accept. But a lot of women don't have to accept reality because they're women, especially for the ones that are mildly attractive and then the ones that are super attractive, even the ugly ones, they get to live within a fairy tale, a mirage of what the world is. Until reality, like you notice it, when reality hits a lot of women in the face, they can't handle it. True. So it's good to have a man there to guide that.
True. I agree with that. Let's roll some more of this tape.
Oh, and guess what?
What up? 49
roll it. No, I'm saying roll it a little. When next time you stop, I gotta dip out. So go ahead.
Oh, okay.
And I haven't got to point out to you because you know. There's English spoken by black Americans, there's nothing English spoken by white Americans. And so that's given. And we have to use it and do something with it which has not been done before. We are in great trouble, but we have the great advantage of knowing we're in great trouble. We're in trouble man to woman, man to man. We're in trouble, father to son, mother to daughter. But we know we are. If I can liberate my great nephew, if black people can liberate themselves, and since we're talking about a commercial endeavor too, by the way, because the great crisis is we have no land and no money. But it's all right.
That resides in power.
Yeah, we'll get.
Because you find out you cannot purchase anything you can't take.
We'll get.
You know what I mean?
We'll get.
We must.
No, we'll get.
And the power is not the land or the money.
I know
the power
that.
is the ability to effect.
But now you are agreeing with me.
Of course, you wise.
What?
You're a wise man. Why wouldn't I?
Wow.
And one of the strengths of the Afro-American, certainly the last 20, 30 years, is that we have recognized we are not Americans. On one hand, on the other hand, we are the only true inheritors of the place called America.
That's right. It belongs to us.
Because we are still outside of it.
It belongs to us, and there's nobody can do anything about that.
And you will get it. If we continue to move. I think it's a guilt.
In ways that one can't quite see yet. We already have it. It's one of the reasons for the panic.
We have to effect it.
Yes.
And we have to know it, and we have to make sure that everybody else.
We have to change it.
It's like the South lost the Civil War, but they didn't know it, which is why they continued. Because someone finally said, "You know, you lost." You know what I mean?
And y'all, what's so crazy about what is being said? What she said is idealistic. Like, I know her conversations would be totally different now, or 30 years from then. Until you really go through something, you can dream this, you can think you've been through something, learn something in your 20s, even 30s, and then it's just like until you really have gone through something, you don't really realize the real world. And you have to go through. You really have to go through it. And I know so many people that's older than me that say stuff that's very disheartening, disappointing. But I realize is you know, God bless me to get older every day, you know, God willing. And it's like, I had to realize, man, like, it's more to life than what we think is. It's more than just what goes on in our head. Until you experience something, try different things. It's very, very difficult to tell somebody who's your elder, twice, third, fourth, your elder, something where they're just supposed to agree with something you haven't been there. Especially if they tell you that they tried that and that shit didn't work. And I think that's where Nikki Giovanni was at the time in 71 at 28 years old. She said it herself. She's very idealistic. She said it herself. And the reality is, like, this is my whole thing, and I'm just gonna put this out there, just being honest. Whether you like it or not, you got a problem with it, I stand 10 toes down. A lot of our issue with our people in this or my community in this country or in the West is a lot of us have gotten to a complacent place to think we're privileged as the dominant society in numbers, in mass. And when we talk about reparations or we talk about what's due to us or whatever, we gotta realize we have to be able to do things on our own. And when we talk about reparations, let's just keep it gangster. Let's just keep it 1,000. Motherfuckers is not gonna agree with us on that. If we want something, you gotta figure out how to get it. Fuck who don't like it. Because the difference with us and everybody else, we did all this protest and shit. And others got what they deserve for reasons. Whether people like it or not, I don't care what your race is, your social status, your class is, your financial status. If you're part of those classes that get money and do what they do, I give respect to people who got knowledge and make their moves. But at the end of the day, for us, if we want something, you gotta figure out how the hell you gonna go out there and get it.
I mean, they continue to act as if they hit more.
Well, they still haven't lost it because that war was kind of... The results of that war are being paid for until today.
And will be paid for.
When we marched in Montgomery, Governor Wallace had the Confederate flag flying from the state, from the Capitol building,
yes.
Which is legally insurrection. But nobody said a word about it. Because, in fact, the South and North simply concluded a contract between them to keep you and me in slavery. That's all that really happened. So the textile mills in Manchester and Massachusetts got rich, and the cotton fields got rich. Where do the textiles come from, except Mississippi?
But see, so many institutions, to me, are not but. So many institutions, like, it just doesn't make them institutions that Shirley Chisholm is in Congress or Richard Brooke is in.
Well, it's what I mean when I say, you know, the white and black are really very arbitrary categories which cannot be trusted.
Well, certain things have certain color designations.
Well, the fact that Ed Brooke is a senator from Massachusetts, or that there's some black mayor, since it doesn't change the machine, doesn't change the parties which they allegedly represent, doesn't mean anything. I'm saying you can't tell a black man by the color of his skin.
Or maybe you can't tell. Maybe my quarrel is very subtle, but maybe I'm saying you can't tell a white man by the color of his.
Either. In that case, there's a great deal of hope.
If you could get a black mayor to come in and change, which I think Carl Stokes did, change the police department, change the way that the city goes about its services, then you could have something. But if he's not going to change it, first of all, the militia, which becomes the police department, if he's not willing to make those kind of changes, or if he's not willing to, let's say, take on the McCarran Act, then he's just not doing black people any
all the country.
Well,
no,
it's one of the same.
No, it's one of the, in my mind, it's one of the same. I'm not trying to. I'm not being a missionary trying to save America. But I do know that we have paid too much for it to be able to abandon it.
We can never abandon it. I don't think that's a question, because where else are we going to go? I mean, nobody else wants us.
In any case, my father and my father's fathers paid too much for it.
I've paid too much for it. I'm only 28.
Yes.
I deserve it, to do whatever I want to do with it. Thomas deserves it, whatever that means. I just think that, like, how we go about it and what we're, I'm just not interested in many things that people are interested in. I'm not interested in a president or a Congress. I wouldn't care Puerto Rican, you know what I mean? I wouldn't care. I just don't give a damn. Because it's still somebody trying to run my life. I'm not interested in movements and ideologies. Because I think that I would have a difficult time. No matter who was
terrible time.
Yeah, I mean, personally, it wouldn't change one bit for me. Except maybe I would even have to go in exile. I could live there.
Yeah, but you see, it's a tightrope. It's a tight.
Now, see what she said about not giving damn. You got a lot of women like that, and the sad thing is, like me and Jay always talk about, privileged people don't realize they have privilege. So we say a lot of things and actually don't think about a lot of other people. And then we group ourselves with certain people, and that's the only protection we're worried about, is those people we identify with. And sadly enough, for black people in this country, man, we had to deal with a lot of fuck shit and still work to actually change that 3/4 of a human being status. We had to work for that. We had to work 10 times harder. I have people that I've disagreed with plenty of times. Of course, not of my race, not my color, and not other minorities, The white dominant society. Saying, oh, that don't mean that person had to work 10 times harder. It's like, you realize where that person came from? Like, I had a conversation with somebody before about Barack Obama and his wife having to work 10 times harder to get there. Oh, they have to work 10 times harder. Man, Barack Obama and his wife were A students, lawyers. How hard did George Bush Jr. have to work? CD student, but his father was the president? Effed up all kinds of money and businesses. That's the reality we have to deal with. And I don't expect white people to understand that. But that's kind of where I'm cocky at. If I can break these things down to you legitimate, give you enough examples, and then you try to keep deflecting and you keep trying to move the goalposts, why should I care? The sad thing is, with my community, we keep getting called degenerates, and that's just the culture. You got Thomas Sowell and other people that break down where the culture came from, especially with the slave mentality. You got blacks that moved up north to try to distance themselves from that. Still got treated like the N-word. If you can't understand that, it's no need for me to have that conversation with you. I'm just keeping it gangster. You don't like it? So the fuck what? So, I don't care. But this is the sad thing we got to deal with, is the fact that our women have been brainwashed, and not just our women, because white women are the feminist drivers. If I'm not mistaken, started in the UK, moved over here. Then they start putting into all the brains of all other women, all the minorities, whatever you want to call it, thinking that it makes sense to come to a place where you're free, then start trouble. Start trouble in them countries that you say has real oppression. If you ain't gonna do that, you ain't doing shit. I worked with at-risk youth for 15 years. I want to see some change. That's why I had to start in my own community.
But the Quran, again, to come back to the whole question of, of labels, white and black. I'm terrified of cultural commissars, on either side of the line.
Yeah. The older you get, the more frightening it becomes.
Terrifying, because I'm much too old to be told how to write, or what to write about.
But that's a stupid. My theory is that the world divides into sort of like intelligent and weak and strong, which is awful. I mean, it's really awful for me to say things like that. But there's so many stupid people.
It divides not so much between stupid and bright, because most bright people I have encountered. Not most, many are wicked. I really think it's really wicked.
Yeah. Well, maybe.
But I think it divides between the people who have a certain kind of daring and the people who don't. And the daring is involved with the price you're prepared to pay for your life. Because then you may have been born stupid, but if you're willing to live, take your chances on living, you become very bright.
Yeah. But then in my world,
now with all her back and forth with the late great James Baldwin, I want to kind of go to something like I was saying, how you got a lot of women that ended up taking the feminist mindset, especially in our community, that ended up being like this woman right here, Gabrielle Union. Shout out to JR Wisdom. Oh, the brother doing good. 84,000. I was on it. 1,000 subs. We'll be there, guy one. JBJ Network. You know what it is. Let's see what he got to say about Gabrielle Union and what she had to say about cheating. This is just the mindset. That was 71. I believe this came out. How long ago was this? Was this right before? Yeah, right at the top of 2023.
It's hitting the news and headlines today with some more controversy, but it's something that we already knew about.
Now, she was always saying she want to be respected for her mind, but she acting like a thought right now at damn near 50.
Based upon her marriage with the great Dwayne Wade and that whole entire family situation. So I don't want to talk too much about it. Before we get into it, hit that like and subscribe button along with the bell. That way you receive all the notifications for all of my future videos that have content like this. We're going to go ahead and play this clip where Gabrielle Union appeared on a podcast with Dak Shepard called the Armchair Expert Podcast, where she talks about the situation with her former husband, Chris Howard. So let's get into it.
You were always married during all this stuff.
I was always married, but that first go round,
okay.
I definitely was not getting Wife of the Year awards.
Okay, good.
I had some focus issues.
Sure. Listen. I don't know.
Well, in our first marriage, neither one of us felt like the marriage should get in the way of our dating.
Right.
And so
that's
part of it
you
was
and I
like
identical. I was
keeping up with his activities. And I was like, oh, that's what you're doing? Oh, you're going to feel this one.
Right.
And
Okay.
I just felt entitled to it as well. I was paying all the bills. I was working my ass off. And
now that's the crazy thing about it. Now, him cheating too, smartest thing was the lead. That's where you got a lot of those simp songs from, was a guy that was out there cheating, doing his thing. Now, I didn't hear guys talk about that. She was getting cheated on first, then she decided to cheat. Then she felt that she was entitled to it anyways because she was paying all the bills. So, can't put this all on her because he was doing wrong. But, like they say, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of the way you decide to respond to it. So that's where she definitely was wrong. But at the same time, you have simp songs that talked about a man doing a woman wrong and her leaving. Makes sense. Because I hear women say that all the time. That might be the number one reason women say they cheat. Oh, I was cheating because he was cheating. And it's like, but if you a good woman, a decent woman at least, you gonna leave. You're not gonna play those games with no dude. You gonna leave. That way you get a Teddy Pendergrass song back in the 70s. Thinking back, I don't know what how it went. 2-time loser, all that, love TKO. Y'all know that OG ass phone. But that's where the song came from. Man realized he did wrong, and a lot of women think that shit is cool these days. Boy, think it's cool.
I felt like that's what comes, the spoils of riches. Yeah. And like my dad before me, whoever has the most gets to do whatever the hell they want, is what I thought.
Yes.
And it was just dysfunctional from day one.
Yeah, guilt over that.
I wish I had more guilt for some of that. I think it was such a stupid relationship that should have never gotten out of the dating phase.
Yeah.
We were gifted therapy, and the first session, the therapist was like, that's literally what she said. I don't know how you guys made it out of the dating phase.
Wow.
And we should probably look for a way to amicably
dissolve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you have not one thing in common. No morals, no values, no scruples. The one thing you both have in common is other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why don't you just go be with other people?
Oh my
You
God,
guys are
that's
identical in
funny.
that you're super horny for other people.
Yeah, well, I was horny. Probably look for a way to know how you guys made it out of therapy. And the first session, the therapist was like, that's literally what she said. I don't know.
Okay, so then they went to a female therapist. Terrible.
How you guys made it out of the dating phase.
Wow.
And we should probably look for a way to amicably
dissolve.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you have not one thing in common. No morals, no values, no scruples. The one thing you both have in common is other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? So why don't you just go be with other people?
Oh my
You
God,
guys are identical in that
funny.
you're super horny for other people.
Yeah, well, I was horny for validation.
Yes.
And having certain kinds of guys like me and want me. That made me feel like I was
I
worth.
remember hearing something about her saying that she wanted to sleep with Tupac and she was gonna try to go get in one of his videos back in the day. That's a damn shame, man. Like, I think this was before her marriage. And she used to always say in interviews she wanted to be respected for her mind. Now that she's older, now she's showing an image of a thought. I can give her a little credit for at least not putting herself out there, making herself look bad back in the days. But now she about almost 50 years old. She's like 48, 49. And now, because I think Dwayne Wade is maybe a year or two older than me. So he's about 40, 41. So now she being a thought, she want to go ahead and be more masculine than her husband. One of the greatest basketball players to ever play in the game of basketball. And he got to be soft. That's what we got to deal with, y'all. Pray for pray for us.
And good and valuable and deserving.
So guys, as you can see, that was a doozy. This woman is just calling it like it is. You know, Gabrielle Union is in her 50s now, and she's talking like this. The relationship she had with her husband, she was paying all the bills based upon the mentality she got from her father. Even though she's a woman and she pays all the bills, she thus can exercise some options. And even though she said Buddy cheated as well, the funny thing is they met in 1999, you know, were together for 2 whole years before they actually got married in 2001. Stayed together for, 4 years? You know.
My bad, y'all. My bad. You already know I ain't paying for this shit.
2005. But at the end of the day, people get married early on, and shortly after, Buddy used to be an NFL player, as you guys probably know. And things didn't go so well, and I guess he fell down on his luck, and she decided to take over. But if you look at Gabrielle Union, the same character that she plays in the movies is who she is in real life, in my estimation. She always has this chip on her shoulder, and I think she's, you know, whether you can say she's a beautiful woman, obviously, but how she conducts herself is, I just can't see myself being with her, because she looks like she's going to run the relationship. And that
she has the feminist mindset, so of course she gonna try to run the damn relationship. Matter of fact, let's see what Charleston White got to say about it. Shout out to say cheese.
speaking of that, you went berserk on Dwayne Wade and his wife.
Yeah, right.
They took a family picture. Yeah, they took a family picture together. And the son, he was hugging his boyfriend, which was a white kid.
Little white girl.
And you know, you said
they
what
are
you
not
said.
Transsexuals. Them kids are not transsexuals. Those kids are, and I want to say this where you can get your monetization. Those kids are dealing with Dwayne Wade boy. I don't know nothing about that white boy, that white girl. Dwayne Wade boy is dealing with two demented adults who are trying to live vicariously through that kid. Now that little boy really like white girls. Little boy really like the little white girl. The little white girl really wants some of that little black boy's dick. But because they parents fucked up, they got the boy, they got him switching. I saw a video of Dwayne Wade saying, oh yeah, everybody asked me about Zeta, and I tell them that it was normal. When I was a little boy, I used to wear my mother's shoes and my sister's clothes. You a lying motherfucker. That ain't normal, nigga. That's the mentally ill shit, nigga. My mama catch me walking in her heel, you'll get your ass whooped. Boy, if you don't get out my goddamn shoe, boys don't wear that. Nigga, we didn't want to play in mama's shoes. Now
the crazy thing about the crazy thing about it is, like, they say now that's shaming, call it a mental illness or whatever. All right, cool. Let's take that out, though. Let's take that out. But fast forward, talking about the black community, you have a lot of black women that shame black men, call black men gay that are not, and will have gay friends and family members that they love dearly, which I'm surprised for those gay individuals. I ain't saying all people part of the LGBT community will sit there and take that disrespect. I'm not saying it. But what tripped me out is the fact that you have those women that get away with saying that craziness to them. That don't bother them. That's like a white person who's low-key racist saying nigger and make the excuse why I have black friends. That don't mean you cool with black people. You might ended up eventually accepting those black people, but that don't mean you don't dislike black people. Are you kidding me? That's the same thing. So I don't get when certain black women that do that will disrespect men that date men, you know, their own preference, whatever, but have the nerve to sit there and act as if they're not, you know, against homosexuality. It's really bullshit. I mean, it's really and truly bullshit.
Now, we went in there and got my cousin Tasha dolls so we can look at Barbie pussy.
Please excuse some of the language.
We used to get Ken and get Barbie and try to raise up Barbie dress and see. Look at your dick.
Excuse us, white man. That boy need help.
We put them dolls down and start hunching motherfucking play. But now, nigga, we ain't as boys. We didn't have no desire in breaking things, doing black back flips in the bed. Yeah, no, he lying. So what I see, and I hate to be harsh, well, no, I don't. Yeah, I have every intention on being harsh. Yeah, but listen, what I see here is like if I want my son to play football, I played football, I went to college, but I didn't make it. Most of the time, those fathers live through their son. They had every goddamn game. Go, boy! They be down on the field trying to coach. They get in the way of the boy trying to make it. The Laval, them ball boy-like parents live through the boy. Put the pressure on the boy to be successful. To me, that look like what Dwayne Wade is doing through his son. He really want to be. He really want what the boy want. Yeah, he really want a in his ass. He don't want a finger. He don't want a dildo. That boy wants that with that vein in it, And so he done convinced this little boy to get him some. Yeah, get you something like get you that.
No, what it really is, Gabrielle Union did it, I think. Because you gotta remember at the time when they got together, broke up, he wanna got the little side thigh pregnant. They get back together. Now mind you, they wasn't together. So it wasn't necessarily cheap. Especially when Gabrielle Union told her she out there always doing her damn thing. So what it seemed like, when Wade was off on the road, she was brainwashing his son. Part of me thinks she had malice towards Dwayne. She took it out on the son. You have women that do that. Just like the women that are poisoning the children to hate the father because the father don't want her no more and not want to be around the father. I think that was Gabrielle Union's doing. She's a Jezebel, man. She's a feminist Jezebel. She's a Jezebel. And then that's what's being promoted these days, that it's okay for slut walk. It's okay to be a Jezebel. It's okay to be a feminist, hate men, and be married one. That's how rewinded the mentality is. That's how backwards thinking. It's Neanderthal thinking. It's not realistic. But I think she did that because she took Wade's son to a pride parade. And you can see the video of grown people out there wilding out in front of this child, man. That's child abuse. And we're gonna sit here and act like that shit is okay? That was child abuse. But just because a woman did it, it's okay? Man, you can't tell me this world and country, world, whatever, ain't going to hell going to hell in a hand basket with a 2-3 different bow ties tied to it.
Daddy wanted, daddy couldn't do it, but you can do it. You can be free to do it. I wasn't free to do it, son. I had to play basketball.
That's why it seemed like Wade was going on these tours last year, talking about his son's sexuality. Son wasn't there, Gabrielle Union wasn't there. Maybe he felt like he could do it. That's why we started looking at him like, I don't know, boy, you got a lot of lip balm on and tight outfits and chokers on too much.
I really want to be a punk. So
it's funny because my bad, not to cut you off, but it's funny because I remember when D Wade and Chris Bosh used to play together. People used to think Chris Bosh was the one. I don't know if you remember that, but people used to make fun of Chris Bosh all the time on the internet, and now it's reversed.
Oh, Chris Bosh man, I seen that nigga.
Oh yeah, that is true. People used to make fun of Chris Bosh a lot. By him liking, man, now it's Dwayne Wade. That's crazy. That is true.
With some golden fingernail polish. I seen him with some leotard. I don't know what that was. But
some a figure skater would wear. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Back then, you know, the man that dressed like a bitch was the one that got all the women. Rest in peace to Charlie Murphy.
Fucked up part about it is the little boy was all right when he was over there with his mama. That little boy was a boy with his mama. Now here come his rich basketball playing daddy, come take the kids from the mama. Get with a woman who can't have babies. Not only she can't have babies, she done been brutally raped before. So there's a darkness to the elements of who she is. I'm playing basketball. My sick girlfriend go get a nanny to groom and watch my boys. Yeah. You see us in his daddy, so it's gonna be in him.
That's another crazy thing. I'm glad Charleston brought that up. The Gabrielle Union went and got a white male nanny to watch over his son. Now, I ain't saying he did nothing to him, but Wade was cool with that. That's some feminist mind shit. It has nothing to do with Ashley changing the world for the better. It has to do with power. The feminist movement has to do with power. And let's talk about the fact of some women using feminism as being victim as well. After that doggone damn break right there, y'all give me a second. Warline.
Like I know it would. I feel good. Hey. Why are you so happy back there and I'm taking you to jail? Hey, man, I'm so happy, bro. When you're taking me, I got 24 hours away from my wife, man.
Understand? I don't hate her. I hate what she's become.
Just make a plea to the married women. I don't want your husband at all. I just feel like if you know a single mother, can you send your husband to help us out a little bit? Like there's stuff that I didn't know about you. I didn't.
That's some crazy shit. Send your husband to help out. And that's how a lot of men end up messing around and getting into some trouble. A man trying to be nice and all that. I ain't saying he go over to a woman's house and he supposed to do nothing because his woman said it was okay. But it's just, hey, men know not to let no man around his woman like that. We territorial because we know what else they can do.
No. Sherry. You got it all wrong. So let me get this straight. You want the married men to now go help out the single mothers. Yeah. I ain't even gonna say nothing. Roll the Vandals clip.
Hey, how tall are you?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now.
You are not 6'8", bro. I got a measuring tape right here. Alright, maybe with those shoes, bro. You're about 6'2", not 6'8".
What? How has he been measuring himself all these years if he thought he was 6'8"? That had to be...
Standing next to a guy who ain't 6'8".
Because ain't no way you really thought you was 6'8". That had to be a prank. Either way, it was hilarious. Roll the next clip.
Open the door, Amy.
Okay, I don't have a key on.
Who's here? How long you been messing around my wife?
What you mean?
What do you mean what I mean?
Got her Tyrone.
No. You want me to leave? Are you in love?
What kind of question is that?
Now, I might be stepping on the edge with saying this, but I'm going to just go ahead and take a guess and say, I don't think it's love that's going on right there. No. Now, what I do think would happen is she found a guy who was desperate enough and willing enough to clap her cheeks, no matter how weird you may think that is. But you want to know something crazy that I think? The only reason why he asks, are they in love? Because he wants to leave that door open and might take her back. Roll the next clip.
Damn!
You got knocked out.
Do you know what the hell you doing?
No shit, gotta stop me. I always got that goddamn thing in my goddamn face so that America can know what I'm doing.
Baby, please don't blow up the goddamn house.
It's my house, man. I hope your ugly ass in there when it do blow.
Asshole.
You look very nice today. I just wanted to tell you.
I typically do. It's worth more than you can comprehend. So we have 50,000 here. We got 25K here. I mean, this purse is one of a kind. I don't think it's even sold in mass. Pants are about 10 grand. The boots are 12. Yeah. What are yours?
I don't know how much is it.
She's a high price damn hoochie.
Her hair.
Oh, natural.
Are your diamonds real though? Cause like I be catching a lot of people, and it just seems like you got that fake energy.
Oh, really? Cause that seems like you got that broke energy. You got that broke energy. Oh! Watch. Are you gonna test my real diamonds or not, sweetie? Because I really need to get to my penthouse. I don't have time for you.
What?
Careful.
I didn't even
Be careful.
Okay. All right.
Real. Real. Don't hit the other one too. Real.
All right.
Real. Well, now go back to your little cardboard box under the bridge, troll. Oh!
The hate.
But why you got this big?
Got Hurricane Independent. What's good with you, brother? Salute.
Your wife.
I can't be checked. I'm uncheckable.
Why is there a 85-inch television in my bedroom?
Now, you know what you always tell me, right?
What?
Baby, it was on sale.
Uh-oh.
So I got
That
it.
is
It
not
was
what
on
I
sale.
tell you. That's not what I tell you.
Why the you lying? Why you always lying?
It was on sale.
So what's the purpose of 85? Is it gonna fit on that wall?
85? What? Is it gonna fit on the wall?
That's what I said.
If there's a will, there's a way.
Sir.
Won't he do it? He did it.
Who did it?
I watched him.
What? Who is him?
You know who him is?
Who?
Him bless you all the time. Simple. Blessings on blessings.
Simple, don't listen.
Blessings on blessings.
Can we please stop saying pregnant women?
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady. Only girls can be the mommies. Only boys can be the daddies.
Man, shout out to Mr. Rogers. I know.
Damn, Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers was kicking some real shit just then. Damn, I don't even remember that. Well, I damn sure wasn't born back then. But I used to watch Mr. Rogers growing up. Rest in peace to Mr. Rogers. He used to say some real shit. I didn't know he was getting down like that. But it's just showing the dynamics of what's going on right now. A lot of it is internet shit. A lot of it is stuff that, you know, is of the times. Well, because it's on the internet, of course. That's what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, I appreciate y'all being here. I might go ahead and do a video a little later again. I just got to get some things together right now. But I appreciate y'all being here. But I just want to leave y'all with this thought. Versus, you know, when it's my community, your community, especially in the West, when things are going. The crazy, sad thing about it is we fighting with each other for no reason, being competition. For the ladies out there that's in the middle, that's in the gray area, salute. It's like, hey, you know, you trying to figure it out. I get it, just like the modern man trying to figure it out. But we can do a whole lot better, man. Just stop trying to compete with everybody. If you see somebody ain't on your time, just leave them alone. We show examples, other people show examples on their side. It's all gravy, you know what I'm saying? Hurricane said, damn, that was a long time ago. Mr. Rogers was spitting facts. Yeah, that's crazy. That had to been like in the late 50s, early 60s. But on some G shit, man, it's crazy. But I just showed a video. Rest in peace, James Baldwin. Shout out to the elder, Nikki Giovanni. Maybe I'll find an interview of her mindset in recent times. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it was. Back then to now. Things have changed, but it's just gotten worse. Shit has gotten freaking worse. So we gotta figure out what we're gonna do in our own individual lives around our circles. The shit ain't what it used to be. Believe that. It's your boy JTL, aka Out from the North 18. I appreciate y'all coming through to the JVJ Network. Appreciate all of those that was on Let's Talk with JVJ. If you haven't had a chance yet, make sure you go to my channel, Out from the North 18, the number 18, all one word. Make sure you subscribe. All right, and like I said, I may come back a little later with something. Just gotta, you know, put it together. But I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate y'all. All right, chill.
Perfect.